What's up, ladies and gents? In today's video, we're going to be talking all about Litecoin. We're going to be discussing what we're seeing here on the charts, and I'll be giving you guys my price prediction for Litecoin over the coming days and weeks, as well as my targets for 2025. So be sure to stay tuned for all of that. Of course, if you are a new viewer, then welcome to this channel. If you do like this sort of content, hit the like button and subscribe for more. If you are a returning viewer, as always, welcome back to the channel. It's great to have you all here. So, of course, we're going to be diving straight into this one. We're going to start off with the shorter term, and then later in this video, we'll talk about the 2025 targets. We are on the 4-hour chart now for Litecoin, and as you guys can see, over the past few days, Litecoin has been on quite a bit of a rally. Now, of course, for the slightly longer term, this rally is very, very significant. We'll get onto that in a second, but we can see that Litecoin, prior to this pump that we've had, has been consolidating in a pattern that looks a little bit like this. So for the past week or so, after we had those interest rate decisions where it was a little bit of a disappointment, the whole crypto market kind of headed downwards after that meeting. And you can see here on Litecoin that we consolidated within this channel. Now, if we zoom out a little bit more, you can see that the prices had actually gone pretty parabolic going into this consolidation in the first place. So what we have here on the screen, in my opinion, is a bull flag pattern. You can see the schematic in the bottom right and the similarities between what we're seeing here and that schematic. And essentially, over the past day or so, we have seen a breakout from this bull flag pattern. Now, the way we get a price target from a bull flag pattern when you see one is just the distance of the parabolic move going into the bull flag. So in the most optimistic case, we can get this whole length of this move going into the bottom of the bull flag here. So right by where the support is, we drag this to where we saw the breakout, which was just over the past day. And as you guys can see here in the shorter term on Litecoin, we could be expecting a price target of $158. That's a 44% upside, or roughly 25% from where we're sitting right now. So a decent little pump here that we could expect over the next few days. Of course, some other things that look really good here for Litecoin is that you'll notice, if you look in the top right, pretty much every single crypto that we cover on this channel is slightly red today. But there's one major exception here, and that is Litecoin, which is sitting up nearly 4% over the past 24 hours. So we're starting to see Litecoin really outperform. Now, like I said earlier, I do think that this pump that we're seeing here on Litecoin is just the tip of the iceberg, because if we zoom out now, so we're talking about the 2025 targets and just the longer term in general. If we have a look at Litecoin on the 1 week time frame, we have seen this massive consolidation pattern. So the best way we can describe this consolidation pattern is by drawing the trend lines for where the resistance and the support is, and we can clearly see that we've got a clear support basically holding up the price like this. So you can see the price has come down to this white trend line on multiple different occasions, and for a resistance we've had this here on Litecoin. So again, we can see that the price has come up to this upper resistance line on multiple occasions. We can see that at the start of 2025, it came up to it on 3 separate occasions. So we've got a strong support, we've got a strong resistance. And if I just zoom in once again to where the price action is right now, what do you guys notice? We have started to see a breakthrough of this upper resistance line. Now, the significance of this is pretty huge, because if we have indeed seen a breakout to the upside of this resistance, what you'll notice is that we have this massive 5-year long triangle here on the Litecoin chart. And of course, if we have indeed seen a breakout, we get a massive price target stemming from the fact that this is a triangle breakout. So if it is the case, we get the distance between the first test of support down here to the first test of resistance up here. And if we drag that measuring tool to where we just saw the breakout, we could be expecting a target here on Litecoin of $3,000. That's a 2,300% upside from where we have just broken out. Now, of course, this is absolutely massive. So I personally am going to be watching the Litecoin chart over the next few days. Of course, right now we have just managed to tip above. If the prices are able to continue heading up over the next few days, which with that shorter term bull flag that we could be seeing, should give the price a motivation to get to 158 and therefore confirm this breakout. Then we could also be seeing this longer term triangle triggered off. So of course, definitely one of the more exciting prospects here in the whole of crypto is this 5-year long triangle potential breakout that we have just seen here on Litecoin. Of course, if you want to get $10 completely free to buy some Litecoin, then don't forget to check out the MEX exchange. As you can see in front of your screen, they're giving every new user who signs up using the link in the description down below $10 to get started. Now, this exchange does not require KYC. The only thing you need to do to get that money is to deposit some fiat or crypto into your new account, and then you'll get that $10 bonus straight away. So like I say, you can use it to buy some Litecoin, or you can long or short Litecoin with up to 200 times leverage using their futures exchange. Again, link for this is in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. Let's get back into this video. Now, of course, we have this one triangle here on Litecoin, but what gives me even more conviction to the fact that we could be seeing an actual breakout from a triangle is the fact that if we have a look at other cryptocurrencies, they're showing us very similar patterns. So it's not an isolated case here on Litecoin. Let's go to Ethereum, the largest altcoin. And if we zoom out here on the Ethereum chart, we are seeing a very eerily similar pattern. You can see that again over the past 5 years. Ethereum also has this upper resistance line that's been tested a few times. There's lower support and this triangle pattern here, and Ethereum is also really close to breaking out to the upside. So just like Litecoin, we're in a very similar position here on Ethereum. Now, if we see not just Litecoin but other cryptos breaking out of their longer term structures too, that would be even more bullish for Litecoin in my opinion. Now again, we have other structures. We've got Stellar as well, another one that we cover on this channel a lot. And you can see that Stellar is also fairly close to its upper resistance line and breaking out from it. And XRP, yet another example here where we've had this 7-year long triangle pattern. And of course, back in 2024, we already saw a breakout to the upside. So we're seeing these long-term consolidations here on XRP. Of course, XRP is a good example of what happens when we do see a clear breakout. We see a massive pump. Of course, back in November 2024, that resulted in a 6x here for XRP. So that's kind of the power that we could expect here if we get a real breakout. So of course, $3,000 is something that we could potentially expect to see here on Litecoin. Of course, that is an ambitious target indeed. So I do have a few more conservative targets for 2025 that I do think have a higher probability of being hit. And the ones that I'm looking for are the ones that fall along these fib levels. Now, these fib levels I use because, as you can see throughout the course of the past 5 years, Litecoin has used these places as supports and resistances. So most recently, for example, we saw the price come up essentially to the 0.5 fib on 3 separate occasions. We basically came down to 0.236 as the main support, bounced between these 2 fibs here, and now starting to head up. So essentially, my first and most conservative target for you guys is basically this 1 fib here where the previous all-time high lies. Of course, that gives us a target here on Litecoin of $414. Of course, I do expect this to be quite a bit of a resistance here on Litecoin. So this could be a meaningful top for 2025. However, if we're being a bit more ambitious, we've got 3 other natural fib levels that lie above the all-time high. So if Litecoin breaks a new all-time high in 2025, the next natural target sits at $780. After that, we've got one at $1,080. And finally, the golden fib ratio here tells us that we could be seeing up to $1,700 here on Litecoin. So of course, we've got a bunch of price targets here on Litecoin, ranging from very conservative to that $3,000 target, which is very ambitious. Of course, if you are a holder here on Litecoin, these could be decent areas to take partial profits on your holdings. So that's how I'm using these price levels that I have just discussed in this video. Very finally as well, something that we need to see here in crypto in general for the best possible chance of Litecoin reaching these upper price targets is favorable conditions here in crypto. So what I mean by that is if we go onto CoinMarketCap, the homepage, we've got these 2 indicators that pop right out, and that is the Fear and Greed Index and the Altcoin Season Index. Now, both of these indexes are out of 100, and the higher the number, the better. Now, the one on the left is a sentiment indicator. The closer to 100 it is, the more positive emotion there is in the market. And the one on the right is the altcoin season index. The higher it is, the more altcoins in general are outperforming Bitcoin. So basically, for the fear and greed index, we need to see a value here of at least 80. And for the altcoin season index, we need a value of at least 75. And when we see those numbers, we get an environment here in crypto where there is a lot of risk taking, there is a lot of euphoria. And that is the perfect environment to see altcoins like Litecoin do these 5x's, 10x's, even 100x's in the shortest space of time. So that is what I'm basically looking for here in the longer term for Litecoin. Of course, as these numbers approach 100, that should tell you that we are approaching a market top here in crypto. So if you're a longer term holder, that is not a bad time to be selling your holdings. So, of course, those are my thoughts here on the market and in Litecoin. Of course, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Do let me know down in the comments if you are holding any Litecoin. If you're holding any Litecoin, do let me know what your personal price targets are for 2025. Of course, if you want me to cover any other cryptos, do comment them down below. I'll take a look. If the chart looks good, then I will make a video about it. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.